Good evening, everyone. This is Billy with Daily Battles, and just wanted to come on here tonight and first off tell everybody thank you very much for watching and giving us your advice and just comments and all that. I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. Tonight's episode is definitely with a guy that's got a very, very good story and has a lot of truth behind exactly what daily battles means. So, without further ado, we got Bobby Henline coming in.
How you doing?
Hey, Bobby, how you doing, brother?
Good, Billy. Good.
How's that Kentucky weather treating you, man?
It's starting to turn nicer. We got rid of the snow, a little rain. Now we got some sunshine today, so we're doing better.
Good. Well, man, first off, thank you very much for joining me tonight. Definitely, I think you know a little bit about what us soldiers and veterans and heroes go through as far as daily battles.
Yeah.
We got some training issues. Okay, so first off, Bobby, where you originally from, brother?
I actually grew up in California as a Navy brat. Grew up in the Bay Area.
So what made you join the Army if you were a Navy brat, man?
I wasn't going to do any military, but at 17, I was dropped out of high school as a roller skating DJ. I had a cool mullet, was going nowhere in life. And my uncle actually talked me into joining the Army. He wanted to go in the buddy system. He was 5 years older than me. So he said, let's go in the Army and a buddy system together. We both need this. And so we went and took the ASVAB together. He failed. He failed the ASVAB, and I passed. So I ended up going in by myself. That's back in 1989.
So, what year did you join the Army? 1989.
May of 89, yeah. I joined in 89. I just did 3 years.
Okay.
I was in Desert Storm, 90, 91, and then I got out in 92.
Okay. And where'd you go to basic in 89? Because that's the year I joined.
Yeah, I did AIT and basic at Fort Leonard Wood.
Fort Lost in the Woods, huh?
Yeah, in the middle of Missouri.
You know what, man? We might have actually ran into each other. I started basic training February of 1989.
Okay. Yeah. So I was May. So you were already out. You were
okay. Yeah. And then, were you an 88 Mike your whole career?
Yes. When I first went in, they said you could drive a broken truck or fix a broken truck. I figured, how you drive, like a tow truck? He said, yeah, sure. I said, all right, that sounds easy. I'll do that.
Okay.
And so eventually I ended up coming back in after 9/11.
Okay.
And that's when I tried to change my MOS. They wouldn't let me change it.
Man, I wish they would have never let me change mine, but lo and behold, it's kind of hard for them to say no when you change into 11 Bravo or infantry.
Yeah. That's why I tried to come back in infantry. I said, I'm going to come back in. I'm going to come back airborne ranger. I'm going to do it all. And
there you go.
No, you got to come back in as a truck driver. And I thought, well, how bad was my ASVAB score? I couldn't even be infantry.
That is, you know what, brother? That is bad if you can't become 11 Bravo, man.
Right. But I guess they always need truck drivers. That's one job they always need. Life expectancy is 15 minutes in a war zone.
Yeah.
For truck drivers, they always try to supply lines. So something they always need. So that's wouldn't let me change.
Okay. So, you're from California, and then you go in the Army as 88 Mike. Prior to joining the Army, exactly what did you do? Did you come straight out of high school? You go to college?
Yeah, straight out of high school. I dropped out of high school, was doing nothing, and needed to better my life. And my mom signed for me because she knew I needed some discipline. I needed the military. So my mom went ahead and signed for me to join at 17. Of course, nothing was going on in 89, as you know, when you joined. Nothing was happening. We didn't know that Desert Storm was about to happen. But shortly after that, I turned 19. A month after I turned 19, I shipped off to Desert Shield.
So, Bobby, part of daily battles, man, is naturally, we've attended a retreat before, and a lot of individuals really don't know the true struggles that we deal with. Obviously, everybody, looking at Bobby, we can tell that there's something that's happened with Bobby. And if you don't know who he is, I guarantee before we're done tonight, Bobby's going to tell you a lot about himself, and definitely, with his daily battles. But Bobby, like I said, we first met with Alabama veteran, definitely was able to, spend some time, veterans and all of us, and really get that bonding part and helped out as far as us developing that friendship that we have, but just getting that tight bond to where individuals in that group, those sessions, definitely can reach out to each other.
Yeah, we all lose that when we get out. We kind of go our own ways and get busy with life and family. You're not always around other veterans, and that's part of the problem that we have, is we don't have anybody who can relate to what we've been through and understand totally. So these retreats are great because we come together like that. The camaraderie connects, and as you saw, I mean, it happens all the time. We get together like that, and you just act like you've known each other, your whole lives.
Oh no, I mean, I tell my wife all the time, you don't understand the military talk, or you don't understand the what she thinks is me being sick-headed or crazy, but some of the funny things that we find funny reminds us of our days in the military.
Oh yeah, some of the best days are the worst days. Remember those? Yeah. Those how we got each other through bad days. How we help each other out through bad days, and that comes the funnest part of it. Your memories. I just talked to a buddy the other day, and that's what you do. You start talking about the crazy stuff when you were scared, and this has happened, that was blowing up, this was shooting here, and how you got through that together. It's crazy. The bonding that comes so tight at that point.
Oh, it is, man. The wife, just a few days ago, man, we had a horrible foul smell coming out of the woods and everything. She said, "You smell that?" And I said, "I do." She goes, "Does that not make you sick?" And I said, "Babe, believe you me, what I've smelled deployed, that's nothing."
Right. And some of those smells can take you back. It could trigger some of your memories. If it
smells
for sure.
Familiar, yeah. I'm fortunate enough that probably the smell that triggers it is definitely something that's a bad situation if I smell it, and I'm glad that I'm not in the career field of law enforcement anymore to be accustomed to smelling that quite often.
Right.
So Bobby, definitely one of the things that I really let everybody know is, with dealing with PTSD, we know that sometimes the medical professionals are very, very good, but also there's times that they push us away from it. And that was a situation with me. I had doctors and psychologists and everybody that on the medical side tried to help me out, but it actually pushed me further away from dealing and coping with my PTSD. And man, it probably took, a good 15 plus years until I was able to get a chemical balance with medication. So, as you know, one of the things that I love doing to cope with my problems with PTSD is I love getting in my side-by-side and getting out in the woods and just checking out of reality and getting out there and just no worries in the world, boom, hit the trails and have fun. What are some of the things that Bobby does, to help yourself cope with that, and definitely with your limitations as well?
Yeah, that's just it right there. There's different medicines you do this and that. They do so much for you, but they're not the tools that you need to really help you. Those do so much to balance your chemicals inside your body and everything, but for your mind, it's Mother Nature. Like you said, you're going out there in the side-by-side. I like going kayaking. I like hiking. I go for a bike ride, golfing. Anything in Mother Nature really helps get your mind to get grounded again, is what I like to do.
Yeah, besides riding my side-by-side, definitely hunting. And people always ask me, what makes you enjoy hunting so much? It's easy, best sleep I ever get ever. I get out there in a shooting house or a ladder stand, and brother, I will sleep more than I'm awake. Matter of fact, yesterday morning, a good example. The wife texted me and said, "How's hunting going?" I said, "Babe, I've slept the whole time." So And I think the deer enjoy that.
Right. And the deer just walking by, they hear you snoring, like, we're good, time to go.
Yeah, yeah. I think if anybody walks by while I'm hunting, they probably think we got grizzly bears here in Alabama.
Right. That bear's got sleep apnea.
Yeah, for sure. So, Bobby, definitely, I don't want you to really go into detail, but, obviously, there was things that happened in my life, in my military, and my law enforcement career that really pushed the PTSD with me. And, whatever you want to share with everybody to let them know, and then really afterwards telling them your story, I think by really going into your story and back out of it as far as what Bobby does to cope with it, because, definitely, outside of your hobbies, there's something that you do that makes a lot of people laugh for some reason.
Well, I think all of us, no matter what we go through in life, we got to have a sense of humor. We got to be able to laugh at what we've been through. If you can't laugh at it, you're going to drive yourself crazy. It's a release. It's a defense mechanism. It's a diffuser. It puts other people at ease when you can make fun of a situation, especially when it's visible, like mine. Some people don't know what to say. So I got injured. I went back, and we were talking about earlier, I was in the Army. I did 3 years, and it was a Desert Storm. Got out for 10 years. After 9/11, I went back in the military, went back in the Army, same job, truck driver. This time I got to go at least go airborne. I did 4 tours total. It was on my 4th tour to Iraq when my Humvee got hit by a roadside bomb. The bomb was, they said from the report, said 3 to 4 155 rounds that were buried in the center of the road. Blew up right underneath the Humvee, throwing it 20 meters, flipping upside down. They said I've seen pictures of the report and everything. The hole is 5-foot diameter and 3 feet deep. You can barely recognize the Humvee from the incident. And there was 5 of us in the Humvee. I was the only survivor out of 5 guys in that Humvee. My head was burnt to the skull. I had my left hand for 2 years before they finally took it off. They actually got me from Iraq to San Antonio, Texas, at Brooke Army Medical Center in 72 hours.
Really?
Yeah, 72 hours. And they said they had to get me. I stopped in Long Stool for a few hours, and then they had to get me to San Antonio quickly. How bad I was injured. 38% of my body burnt, full thickness. I spent 6 months in the hospital. And like you mentioned before, it was the sense of humor. At first, it was just a defense mechanism and to put other people at ease.
Right.
Just with it and making family feel okay. When I joked about what happened to me or about life at all, they felt like, okay, it's still Bobby. It's still him. It's still, it's still my mom's son. It's still the husband. It's still the father. It's still the crazy brother and uncle.
So Bobby was a comedian prior to the incident, then, correct?
I think I was always funny. Never got paid for it before, but I always thought I was a funny guy in the crowd. You could talk me into doing anything. I was a guy who dared me to do something stupid, and like, all right, I'll do it just for the attention. It's funny, I'll do it.
Oh yeah.
Always made fun of myself. I always had a big nose and no chin, and I look like. I guess the best way to describe me before this happened was I look like a mix between Vin Diesel and Spock. It was with an overbite. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. I probably look much better now.
There you go. Well, definitely, during your time of recovery in the hospital, I mean, was there anything with your mindset that would, I guess, I don't want to say trigger, but, mentally up there as far as, hitting that brain and that melon and saying, all right, just, I don't want to be here type situations.
Oh yeah. It was 2 years. It took 18 months to finally get skin on my head with a skin graft. And shortly after that is when I kind of felt positive again. But before that, every night for 2 years, I prayed to God to take me. I didn't want to be here. I felt like I shouldn't be here. I was a burden. I'm a burden to my family. I had survivor's guilt. I figured it'd be easier for everybody if I just didn't wake up the next day. 48 skin graft surgeries. I've had 48 surgeries. my kids had to worry every time I went in for another surgery. Is dad going to get an infection? Is he going to make it through this surgery? So, I mean, it was just worried and worried and worried for 2 years. And even though I was joking on the outside, inside, I didn't want to be here.
Right.
But I kept waking up that next day. I kept waking up the next day and eventually getting better and better and started getting my independence back. And when they finally got that graft on top of my head and they closed all my wounds and the infection wasn't such a problem anymore, then I was like, okay, I made it. I'm here. Why am I here? And that's when I started looking into why am I here? What can I do? And at that point, I thought, well, if I'm just here to raise my children, to teach my children something, then I got to be positive. I'm happy that I can be here to at least raise my children, to see them graduate, to someday get to hold my grandchildren. Those things added hope to my life, and that kept me more positive. And then the jokes just kept coming, of course, with that, because I really was happy to be here. And I didn't care what my purpose was. I just knew I was here for a reason, and somehow it would come. I would serve my purpose. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I was happy at that point.
Well, definitely, Bobby, you made a good point of, why you're sitting there with the survivor's guilt of why I'm here. When I went through a lot of my struggles, that was one of the key things that I could never grasp it. I really did not know why I was here. It kept going till it drove me to the point that, I was like, all right, I'm going to fix the problem. And I just started turning up the bottle. Yep. And I still question, the why was I here and type things. And, I even, say, God, just go ahead and get rid of me. I don't need to be here anymore. You got other people to deal with. I'm one person that you really don't need to deal with anymore.
Right. One thing I learned with survivor's guilt, what helps me, and this is 17 years later, and it also hit me. I have a really blessed life. I get to travel all over the place. I get to meet all kinds of amazing people. But sometimes that still hits me. I feel guilty for having such a blessed life. And here these other 4 families have lost their loved ones. They're not coming back. So what I do to help me is I remind myself, what if I didn't make it home? What would I want for the ones that did? And of course, I'd want them to live their life to the fullest and not waste it. And right. I know that their families follow me. I know that the families approve of what I do, the humor, they get it. They come to my shows. I mean, these family members of these guys that are Humvee with me come to my shows and they hear me joke about getting blown up and living and what I went through, but it helps them too. They laugh. It's therapeutic for them also. And so I just have to remind myself, though, 17 years later, I still got to remind myself, this is what they want for me. And how bad would it be? I mean, I'd be disrespectful if I didn't live a full life. If I just sat on the couch and kept drinking. Like I do what you did. I went to the bottle for a few years and Percocets and methadone and pain meds and alcohol. I did all that.
I mean, definitely with that, as
I missed something there. You froze up.
All right, you there?
Yep.
Yes. I think we're back now. Okay. Well, definitely. I think it's great that you have the approval from the families to really. It's getting, like you said, getting their mind off of it in a way to definitely help them cope with it, and definitely. I think the society
helps them that they know that I'm not wasting this life that I have, that I'm also trying to help others deal, teaching what I've learned and trying to teach others, hey, this might help you. I've tried this. I'm not a therapist. I can just say what helped me the last 17 years. And I continue to try to figure out new things to help myself too. And sometimes I think I'm helping somebody else. And then they turn around and share something with me, what they do to deal with it. I'm like, oh, I never thought of it that way. And it helps me. It's like, okay, I wasn't here to help you today. You actually helped me. It's crazy how God works like that.
Yeah. And that brings me to, the next point as far as, prior to the injuries and everything, what was Bobby's relationship with God? I mean,
I was.
were you very,
That's
very strong? I mean, develop your faith after everything took place?
yes. I was an atheist. I didn't want to believe. I was raised Catholic, not real strict. I didn't like the rules of religion. How someone could hurt a child, rape somebody, kill somebody, go, I'm sorry, I get to go to heaven now because I said I'm sorry. I didn't like all that. So I didn't want anything to do with it. But when I woke up from my coma, I can remember being on like a giant iceberg at night, is the best way to explain it. Like a big white iceberg with stars out at night. And it was very calm, very comfortable. And I heard voices telling me that I'm going to be okay and that my family's waiting for me. And so when I woke up, I knew, okay, there's a higher power. I just need a swift kick in the rear end to know that there's a God there, that there's a higher power there, something bigger than us. And that I'm here for a reason again. And that's why I started praying. I was like, all right, okay, I know you're here, but you got the wrong guy. Like, I need to go. I shouldn't be here. So yeah, it definitely had changed my beliefs for sure. Not just because I survived, but because of that experience I remember.
Well, definitely I can relate with you, brother. Going in the military first few years, I definitely still had beliefs, and then boom, everything hit. And, it took me until 2016 to really realize that, I was playing the role as an atheist, and I was just lost. I wasn't a true atheist. And definitely, I didn't have a swift kick in the butt. I actually had just a nice wake-up call from one of my kids, out of all things, that really motivated me to change who I was and get back into the role of, all right, who's Billy Neely now?
Yeah.
So, with all of this, you've mentioned your comedy. Tell me, and everybody else, some of the things as far as in the comedy that you really utilize it more as coping skills, or do you even use it as far as like giving direction to people, as far as, hey, brother, you through this joke, this lets you know that, hey, you probably want to reach out and try to fix the problems.
Yeah, at first it was definitely a coping mechanism. One, for myself to deal with it all, and two, just to put the family at ease. Okay, if I just make them laugh, they won't think about all the surgeries and the next surgery or whatever. I just wanted to put people at ease. And then it just became a thing. So I dealt with the pain when I was at occupational therapy. When I amputated my hand and I was doing physical therapy, occupational therapy, I would joke about what's going on. Some people would put on music, they listen to music and just kind of meditate as they got stretched and stuff like that. But I would just talk and make fun of everybody and distract myself. And so my occupational therapist said, well, you need to do stand-up comedy. You're pretty funny. And I said, no. This is easy here. It's a bunch of wounded veterans and hospital staff where in our jobs, we have to have a dark sense of humor. But there's no way I'm going out to the general public and going to tell them, hey, guess what? I got blown in Iraq. Isn't that funny? Like, no, they're not going to laugh at that. But she kept bugging me to try it. And that was 15 years ago now. She talked me into trying stand-up comedy.
So with that, did you just go to an open mic night, or did you go to like a talent show?
Yeah, no, I was going to LA to do a surgery, actually a consultation with a doctor out there through a program they have for us for facial reconstruction stuff. And so I was heading to LA and she said, hey, my sister lives in LA. While you're out there, just try it. She'll tell you where you can go. And I said, all right, if you leave me alone, I'll go try it. And once I show you it's not going to work, then you just don't have to bug me anymore. I tried it. So I get out to LA and I call her sister. Sister doesn't answer. I'm like, oh, okay, good. I tried. I called her sister. 30 minutes later, sister calls me back. Oh, sorry, I was driving. Here's, you got to go to the Comedy Store. So I go to the Comedy Store. You got to go there 2 hours ahead of time, sign up, like 40 people sign up, and they only pick 10. So I thought, okay, cool. I did that. There's no way I'm going to get picked. There's a bunch of regulars that go there all the time for this open mic. There's no way I'm going to get picked. My name got picked twice.
Oh,
so
wow.
They had me, it was going like number 4, number 7 or 8, something like that. So then I had to go tell the guy, sorry, my name. He goes, well, when do you want to go up? I said, the later one, whichever one's second, not the 4th or 5th. I want to go 7th or 8th, somewhere around there. So I ended up having to do the open mic, and at first I didn't, I never really wrote a joke. I just joked around. So I didn't want to tell anybody I was military. I didn't want to get a sympathy laugh. So
Right.
I made up an excuse as a joke I wrote. The first joke I wrote was about this being a rare birth defect. That my mother had to work through her pregnancy in the circus as a fire eater.
That's a good one, bro.
So yeah, I still use that joke today. I tell it in a different format way, but I did 2 minutes worth of jokes, and that was it. Kind of no one laughed, but one of the other comics that was there gave me a compliment on this acid reflux joke I did. I said, okay, well, that's good to know. And it felt good to me to just go up there and talk to people and share my story a little bit with the humor like I do all the time. So then I went back to San Antonio and I started doing open mics like 3 nights a week. And I just practiced material, making people feel awkward, the 5 people that came to watch the open mics. And again, it was just fun to write this stuff. And then eventually they asked me, hey, do you want to host a show? So once I had like 15 minutes of material, I got to host my first comedy show, got paid $25. Like, I made it. I'm a comedian now.
Well, and definitely with me and, during my, I don't say recovery phases, but just phase of dealing and coping with things. That's really what pushed me in my professional wrestling career is I was able to step out of the shoes of who I was and get over into this character. And, I would live life more as that character than I did myself. And it really, it did help me as a coping mechanism as far as out in public. But, it's still, at the end of the night, I would have to go back to me.
Yes. And that's the hard part, right?
Yes.
Because you come that character and your excitement, you get this energy out, and it takes a lot out of you. That energy, it drains you. But you're exciting to other people. You love that you're entertaining these people and you're making their day better. Same if I'm doing motivational speaking or stand-up, I can go do a weekend of stand-up and do like 7 shows over the weekend or whatever. And then Monday, I'm me again. I'm useless. I don't do anything. I get depressed. I feel like I don't do anything. I just worked my butt off for like 4 days talking to people, making them laugh, and making great connections, and even shedding some tears with some people. And then I'm like, oh, I don't do anything. I get depressed. It's when you have to be yourself again and you're just sitting there alone. Not that I like me. I'm okay with who I am and the way I look, but it's just sitting alone with yourself and your mind is the hardest thing I think we have to live with today.
People really do not know and understand how fast a veteran and even first responder that's suffering with, PTSD, how fast our mind moves when we're at I guess, idle. I think sometimes, man, I think so fast when I'm at idle that I actually forget half of the things I think about.
Yes. And I feel bipolar. I'm like having a great day. All of a sudden, one little thing, and it's all ruined and everything sucks. I don't even want to be fun anymore. Just because the store was closed I wanted to go to. I mean, it's something little and it could ruin my whole day. And I'm got this energy. I went to the gym. I'm doing this. All of a sudden, this went wrong. Oh, the whole day sucks. I never want to get on stage ever again. Like, I just start getting mad at everything. It's so dumb. So, my thoughts are the worst.
Something that I definitely, when I was out in the yard working today, one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, everybody has a hero. Growing up, naturally me going into wrestling, Hulk Hogan was my hero. I idolized him, and believe it or not, I still idolize him today because, that was my hero. But there's something just, about a month or 2 ago that I really changed my mindset of who I thought a hero was. And most people will look at his hero as, that cop that ran into a firefight and saved these people, or, these soldiers went into here, or this fireman did this. And they look at it, but they really don't analyze it 100% why that person is considered a hero. And, like I said, just a few weeks ago, I really made, I guess you can say, the change. And I told my stepdaughter, I was like, you're my hero. And she asked me why. I said, because you overcame something that has been bothering you and really affecting you your whole life. And you had the power, the strength to really speak up and say something to in a situation that was not the best for. And watching and knowing that she did that, brother, that just, I mean, it broke me down. I felt bad for her. I actually started crying for her. And, that was, who my hero is now. Bobby, who's Bobby's hero?
Well, first, I do a joke about that. I mean, I do a joke, but it's true that being a hero is like being beautiful. It really is in the eye of the beholder, right? It's in the eye of the beholder, because like if you see a guy who works at a bank and he's driving home, he pulls over because he sees a house on fire. He's not trained to save someone from a house, but he still runs in there anyways and saves that person from a house or people from the house. To me, I think that's a hero because he's not even trained to do that. He just out of the whim risked his life for somebody. So again, it's in the eye of the beholder. And my joke is, of course, if he saves the woman from the house, to her, she's a hero, or he's a hero, but to her husband, he's a jerk. but as far as me, like childhood, to me, like you said, you picked that one. It's not really a hero, but mine was a character. It was Fonzie. I want to be the cool Fonzie.
Hey,
The cool guy. Hey, got the chicks, the hair, and all this stuff, and just whatever he does is cool. If it's the jukebox or whatever, I thought that was really the cool guy. But once I was injured, I looked back at my godmother, who was my great aunt. She, at a young age, very beautiful, gets a tumor in her face, and it distorts her, where she has to put drops in her eyes. She can't close her mouth right. And as a little kid, no one wanted to sit by her at Thanksgiving, because Annie Marie had the stuff coming out of her mouth. Her eye looked weird and stuff like that. She actually, and I found out when I got older that she was married, but when that happened, she made her husband leave. She divorced her husband because she's like, how can you live with me?
Wow.
And then she stayed single the rest of her life. So now, looking back at her, especially once I was injured, I was like, my Annie Marie's my hero. The funny thing is I look like my godmother now. Like, I have the weird eye that needs eye drops. I got shit falling out of my mouth when I eat. Like, it's always all over my shirt. I'm going to be the weird one that my grandkids are sitting at the table going, we don't want to sit by Burnt Paw. He's got food coming out of his mouth. His eye's leaking. So she's my hero. She still went out in public, still went to church every day, really religious, believed all the way through, and just was a really strong, amazing woman. So she was my hero. And one of the hardest thing was, of course, I discovered that when I just get out of the hospital, she's on her deathbed and in California. And I was hoping to get released from the hospital in time to go see her. But I made her services, but I didn't make it to see her in time. I just wanted to tell her thank you. She'll know what she did for me just getting out of the hospital. She's passing on. I'm getting out of the hospital. Just to say thank her for being so strong. And I can use her as an example now to move on. So that's part of what helped me accept the way I look.
Well, definitely, you got me beat in that, but it is that driving force, man, and it's looking back, like I said, me believing that I was an atheist. I now know that that was just, it was a chemical imbalance in my head. It wasn't my true beliefs. I didn't want to believe my beliefs is what it was. And maybe it wasn't even a coping mechanism. It was an excuse to be the fool that I was.
Yeah. I just didn't want to believe anything and just do what I'd want to do. But again, I was the same guy that would give you the shirt off my back. I'd help you out, but I'd help anybody, no matter what. I just didn't want to believe in that. I don't need to believe in that. But yeah, like I said, I think I was the same way, where not like I would follow some atheist rules or vowed or prayed atheist or something. It was just a belief, like, I don't want any of that religion stuff.
Totally understandable. So these days, besides being a comedian, definitely I want to apologize to you for not being able to make the golfing retreat just a few weeks ago due to work. But tell the audience what Bobby is doing these days to help veterans and individuals that are refusing to get out there and cope with it. What's Bobby doing these days?
I just kind of went through. Like I said, I've been doing this for 17 years, or not doing this, surviving. I've been surviving for 17 years now, and dealing and learning different ways, coping mechanisms, tools that help me. Like we talked earlier, it's going hiking, get out with Mother Nature, painting. Last 3 years, golf has really helped me. I joined the VGA, the Veterans Golf Association. I've done some PJ Hope stuff where, I give you lessons for veterans. And then I'd go around and I would help other nonprofits, Lone Survivor Foundation, Chris Kyle's family, Boot Campaign, all these other bigger nonprofits. I'd go out and help them raise money to help veterans. And then someone said, well, why don't you do your own? What would you do differently? And I said, oh, I would do everything that I learned. I would do small retreats for veterans and first responders to teach an outlet, whether it's forging a knife out of a railroad spike, painting, bowling, kayaking. And of course, now that golf's helped me so much and I see it helping other veterans, I want to help veterans with that too. So go back to 2019, which is a great year to start a nonprofit. We started Forging Forward. We wanted to call it Bobby Henline Foundation Forging Forward. I forge forward through the fire. How can I help others forge forward? And so we started doing these retreats, small groups, anywhere from 6 to 12 veterans or first responders, participants. I don't want a big one. I don't want 30, 40 people. Then they get lost. Small groups, good camaraderie. Everybody keeps in touch. It's a really, to me, I've learned that that's the best way to do it. And so then to add to that, I was told my wife, Jamie, who helps me with all this stuff, because I'm just the pretty face with the great idea. She's the one, that magic wizard behind the screen that makes everything happen. And so I said, well, I want to involve golf in this. And so we just did our first golf retreat there in Georgia. And so with that, as we know, if anybody does golf, your mind is so much focused on how to hit that little ball that drives you crazy. You can't think about anything else. And then you're on the golf course. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You're out there with Mother Nature. You're swinging the club. You're talking to your buddies. You're just out there connecting and being in Mother Nature. So we decided to do golf retreats, and we have pros come out with us and help the veterans on the course. Like PGA Hope has a great program where they teach veterans how to hit the ball, right? The beginner golf, or even some lessons if you've been golfing from the driving range, which is great, pitching and driving. But I didn't see anything out there where they show you with the ball on the course. If anybody's played golf, it's driving range, you can do great. You're like, oh, I'm hitting the ball perfect. As soon as you get on the range or get on the course, it's a whole other ball game. The grass is longer. There's a hole, balls in a hole. You're on a hill. So I want to teach veterans and first responders how to do that. It's like, I need those lessons. I'm sure somebody else does too. And to go through the game of golf, and our retreats could be for beginners or someone who's, we had guys out there with 4 handicaps. So we had really good golfers, and we had people like me with a 27 handicap, but it's just lots of fun.
Definitely, I can relate to it because, before getting into the side-by-sides, golf was really my retreat. And, we all say why, because you get so aggravated and so pissed off while you're out on a golf course. But I think that was my outlet to just vent, to let it go, and then get right back into life. And then, again, you're outdoors, you got friends, and the competitiveness is actually probably the best part out of it. Because, you can go and compete with other people that play better than you. But my best friend, we would rag each other so much on the golf course that, sometimes, he'd want to fight me. But at the end of the day, he loved it.
Right.
He's like, when are we going to play golf again? I was like, well, yesterday you told me you never wanted to play with me because I was an asshole.
That's it. But yeah, you just have a good time. And it's golf something you can do as you get older. I mean, I'm going to be 54 this year. I got one hand and I can still play it. So, anybody get out there and hit the ball. There's all kinds of different levels of it. It's a great sport.
So, finishing up things, Bobby, definitely, some of the things that I bring to veterans and individuals that have lost hope. And that was probably one of the biggest problems for me is not only did I lose hope, but, the government, they really shafted me. And I was like, you know what, no more, I'm done with it. And we have, so many things that motivate people, like, with Alabama Veteran, their phrase is, it's okay to be, not to be okay.
Yeah.
With me, with the Veterans Off-Road Riders Association, I made it very, very simple because it's a phrase that all of us relate to is, we got your six.
Right.
Telling our brothers and sisters that, no matter what, come to us. We got your six.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you use or phrases or things like that you really just reach out to people and let them know?
Yeah, when we talk about it, Forging Forward, we talk about what's strong with you. Too many people are telling you what's wrong with you and not focusing on what's strong with you. So you focus on what's strong with you, use your strength to build your weaknesses, and use your strength to help others. So that's what we try to focus on that a lot.
Man, you could have not have said it better. Definitely, that's an amazing concept in a way that, you're giving back. Definitely, in closing remarks, is there anything else that you would like to, the audience to know, to hear, to help them out if there's any situation to where they're just they're in that hard spot in life?
Yeah. Like you hear it 100 times over and over and over. Even I'm bad at it, but to reach out and ask another veteran. I get a lot of ones that just shoot messages to me on social media, and they'll ask me a question, how I deal with this or that, and I answer. So don't be afraid to ask another veteran. Shoot them an email or DM on social media. And like we talked about earlier, survivor's guilt. Live your life to the fullest and honor those we lost. Don't waste the life you have. That's disrespectful for the ones we lost that sacrificed everything and their families. Keep living. Stay strong. You're not alone. I mean, we both talk about, we both go through this. I don't wake up every day just, I'm the happy comedian. No, there's some days I wake up and I turn around and just go right back to bed. It's like, nope, I got to try this again. Every day's a battle.
Yeah.
Every day's a battle, but one day at a time.
Well, Bobby, thank you very much for spending your time with me. As naturally, the first time I met you, your words of wisdom are definitely more than what people think it is. I saw that when we did that little that project of painting the mask. Mm-hmm. Definitely, I saw what Bobby has in his heart to help your family out, and definitely thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I know there's a lot of people that you have reached out and touched, and that's the whole point of this podcast with Daily Battles. There's so many different outlets that people are not seeing out there, and definitely, you have done a major impact with society, with our family, more than what you really know, and I want to thank you for that, man.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. And like we talked about earlier, it's not just the four-wheeling. It's not just the golf. There's the gym. There's the painting. You need more than one of those tools in your toolbox to help you during those hard times. So try multiple things.
That's it. Well, definitely, brother. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifices. Tell your wife, Jamie, I said thank you very much for dealing with you during
right.
those times, because I know that my wife and her, they probably could say, I want to kill him sometimes, but I know that she's one of your biggest and strongest backbones, and definitely one of your biggest supporters. So, Jamie, when you listen to this, thank you very much. And again, brother, thank you for your service and thank you for your sacrifices.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.